Right now on 10 News this morning, monster Hurricane Dorian, a Category 4 storm, is heading for the Bahamas right now and then aiming at Florida. Why it may be taking a turn, though, and heading for the Carolinas as well.
Sirhan stabbed inside a San Diego prison. What happened to the convicted assassin of Robert F. Kennedy?
Thousands of pounds of sand being turned into works of art this weekend. We're live from the Sand Sculpting Challenge. 10 News this morning starts right now.
Live from the Scripps Studios, this is 10 News.
August 31st on this early Saturday morning. I'm Melissa Messiha.
I'm Mary McKenzie. Hopefully you're kicking off a 3-day weekend. We're going to talk about Hurricane Dorian. Of course, folks on the southeast coast preparing for the worst right here. Well, we're preparing for pretty much the worst it gets in San Diego, at least.
Yeah, we're talking about a little bit of heat, a little bit of stickiness, monsoonal moisture coming our way. 6 o'clock on the dot as we take a look at downtown. If you're visiting San Diego this weekend, welcome to America's finest city. It is going to be on the warmer side, though. Right now, downtown, we are at 70 degrees. The official sunrise here at 6:23. Along the coast today, by the lunch hour, some spots reaching 80 degrees, and then we're going to stay in the upper 70s still by 5 p.m. Our inland valleys will be hot, 90 degrees for the lunch hour, and then warming it up over the next couple of hours. 2 p.m. 92 degrees. We're going to stay warm here for the rest of your weekend, but we will take a look at your extended coming up in just a few minutes.
Hurricane Dorian, as we mentioned, now a Category 4 storm. It's packing winds of around 145 miles per hour at the moment. The slow-moving storm, it continues to threaten Florida's east coast. But forecasters say it's now possible that the storm makes a sharp turn to the north and the east before hitting Florida early next week. Yeah, we're watching all of the changes, and with so much uncertainty, Florida officials not taking any chances. They've ordered the first round of mandatory evacuations. ABC's Elizabeth Herr is in Daytona Beach with the latest.
Overnight, Hurricane Dorian growing stronger, prompting officials in Florida to announce mandatory evacuations beginning tomorrow morning for residents in low-lying communities, including Brevard and Martin counties. This morning, the governor urging everyone to prepare for the worst.
There is a danger to your life if you remain in these evacuation zones.
In the Bahamas, the locals are now racing to be ready for anything, with Dorian said to barrel through that island before reaching the U.S.
You're never really ready for a hurricane, but God is in control, so we'll do the best we can to be prepared and be ready.
Back in Florida, the frantic rush also continuing, with residents boarding up shops and homes and scrambling to stock up and gas up, leaving some stations at times running dry.
Came early because last year when we came from Matthew, it was backed right up, the traffic was.
Reason why this time Eileen White and her husband headed out of town for Georgia early, while help from across the country is heading toward Florida, from first responders to utility crews, and these truck drivers already in position, ready to begin distributing supplies. In the meantime, President Trump, who has already declared an emergency here in Florida, is meeting with FEMA officials tomorrow, saying a lot of decisions will be made then, when hopefully we know more about where Dorian is headed. Elizabeth Herr, ABC News, Daytona Beach.
And here's a look at Dorian's path right now. The Category 4 moving at 145 miles per hour. It's moving west at 12 miles per hour right now. So if you take a look at the track, even though it's expected to be offshore, just keep in mind this could still change, and we still have the risk of very strong winds, life-threatening storm surge. So we will watch the track here throughout the morning, throughout the weekend, let you know as those changes come in.
At the San Diego branch of the American Red Cross is sending help out east in preparation for Dorian. Roughly 600 Red Cross volunteers are headed to Florida and to Georgia as well. 7 of those are from San Diego, and there will also be volunteer staff here in San Diego working as support for the volunteers who are there in the field.
Once the hurricane makes landfall, this room will be buzzing with activity. We'll have volunteers from sheltering, feeding, mass care, logistics, all working here to monitor what's going on.
The Red Cross usually runs those volunteers on 12-day shifts, but the shifts can be extended if that becomes necessary. At 10 News, as Mel mentioned too, we'll continue to push out developments about Dorian throughout the holiday weekend, so you can keep track of it right on your phone using the 10 News mobile app, which you can download for free in your phone's app store.
The man convicted of killing Senator Robert F. Kennedy, the brother of President John F. Kennedy, is now in a San Diego hospital. Sirhan Sirhan was rushed to Scripps Mercy in Hillcrest yesterday after being stabbed by a fellow inmate at Donovan State Prison. The California Department of Corrections would not describe his injuries, but said he is currently stable. Sirhan Sirhan shot Senator Kennedy in Los Angeles back on June 5th, 1968. Paul Schrade, who worked for the Kennedy campaign at the time, was also shot in the head by Sirhan that day. Despite being a victim, he is now an advocate for his release, believing there was a second shooter.
We're working with people to see if we can get him in one of these innocence projects and released from prison.
Sirhan appeared at a parole hearing back in 2016, but it was denied. He's now 75 years old. The assassin has been at Donovan since 2013.
And Sirhan's not the only infamous prisoner who's serving a sentence in Donovan State. Eric and Lyle Menendez, who murdered their parents in their Beverly Hills home back in the 1990s. They were both transferred to Donovan in 2018. And Tex Watson, a well-known member of the Manson family, is serving life at Donovan for the infamous Tate LaBianca murders in 1969.
Over to the South Bay, firefighters say a smoldering pile of mulch in Otay Mesa has been burning for at least 4 days. They think people had been dumping the mulch over the hillside for quite a while, creating a very large pile. Hand crews and air attacks were not working, so CAL FIRE brought in a dozer to spread that mulch out. This is right next to the pallet yard that burned during the Caliente fire earlier this month. No word on how much the mulch fire started.
New developments with the Chula Vista Library. The city's moving its drag queen story time to a different location because so many people have signed up for it. This comes after the idea caused some clashes outside the library on Thursday. Those supporting it challenging members of the Southern California chapter of Mass Resistance.
Put an end to this. Now tell me, what is it, ma'am? You are a bigot because you want to shut me down just like you're trying to do right now. You are a bigot. This is the hatred we're dealing with.
So yeah, just a little glimpse of what it was like there Thursday. The event's now going to be held at the Civic Center Library on Tuesday, September 10th.
Well, if you're going anywhere this holiday weekend, local gas prices have taken a jump. Regular increased 1.5 cents yesterday to $3.58 a gallon. That's the biggest one-day increase in 2 months. Gas had fallen 11 cents over the last 26 days. Now, the good news is we are paying 3 cents a gallon less than Labor Day weekend last year. Well, the beach is making its way to the bay. Tons of sand have been transported and turned into works of art. The U.S. Sand Sculpting Challenge kicking off this morning.
That's no exaggeration either. Tennis reporter Natay Holmes joins us live from the Broadway Pier at the Embarcadero. Natay, these artists put so much work into these sand sculptures. This is something we all look forward to every year.
Oh, this is absolutely amazing. I made my way inside of the Broadway Pier building, and you can see dozens of sculptures actually right behind me. And joining me this morning is Abe Waterman. He is actually one of the sculptors here this morning. Now, we want to show you what Abe is working on right behind us. Abe, tell us what this is. I know many people can probably guess.
So, well, we were given the theme of wonder, so I decided to do a tribute to music icon Stevie Wonder, in particular his song "Living for the City."
Awesome. So just kind of tell us, as far as sand sculpting, what goes into it? I know there's probably some techniques that you kind of have to follow to make it look just like this.
Well, the most important thing is packing the sand really well, and we've got an excellent sand here, which is a pit sand. It's got a little bit of clay in it, which really makes it stick together and allows us to get really vertical and have big overhangs and stuff. And so if you pack your sand really well, you can do a lot more with it that way.
And we're told that these things weigh 10 tons, maybe possibly even more.
Yeah, I think we were given 10 yards of sand, which is about 15 tons of sand. So we've had some sand removed, but yeah, most of them are probably between 10 and 15 tons.
How long have you been working on your piece, and when do you think when do you expect it to be finished?
Well, it's finished at 4 o'clock, whether we like it or not. We've been working since we packed the sand on Tuesday, started Wednesday, so today is day 4 of sculpting.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much
Pleasure.
for talking with us this morning. Amazing sculptures out here at the Broadway Pier in the Embarcadero. All you have to do is come down and take a look at them starting at 10 o'clock a.m. Again, the sculptors will be here working today, but the event will be open through Labor Day. Live in Embarcadero on the Tay Homes 10 News.
Now, 10 News Pinpoint Weather, sponsored by Mozzie Heating, Air and Solar, voted best heating and air company 2 years in a row.
Wow, so it weighs between 10 to 15 tons?
Right, as I said, no exaggeration to say we're talking about tons and tons of
Oh
sand.
yeah, those sand
one.
sculptures not going anywhere anytime soon. But yeah, go ahead and take a look at them. It's beautiful. The coast is where you're going to want to be as we are dealing with a hot weekend ahead. At 6:10, a look at La Jolla. La Jolla is going to be nice. It was nice yesterday when I went out there in the afternoon, and there weren't that many people yesterday. So yeah, I think it's going to be a little bit different as we get going for our Saturday. 69 in Kearney Mesa, El Cajon at 66 degrees. Alpine, you're waking up to 64. Over on Fallbrook, same temperature there. Palomar Mountain already in the low 70s. High pressure, that's keeping us warm, so we're going to be above average here, as well as this flow that's going to usher in that monsoonal moisture here over the next couple of days. We still have that excessive heat warning if you do plan to head into the deserts and you want to bear those high triple-digit temperatures. That's going to last until 8 o'clock tonight, so do be prepared if you're going to bear the heat. Your forecast highs for today, we're going to be in the 70s to low 80s along the coast, and then you head inland. It quickly jumps there to the low to mid 90s. Your 7-day forecast, we're going to stay warm here for your weekend into the 80s actually over the next several days. And do keep in mind that the monsoonal moisture, we could potentially see a chance of thunderstorms, some isolated showers, so we are watching for that as well. Upper 80s in the mountains today and tomorrow, 115 in the deserts, and then it does drop to 108. But
yeah, it's interesting to see some of the microclimates changing. You know, deserts dipping as mountains are so. Anyway,
yeah,
little fluctuation.
Microclimates
so you got
here in
to
San
watch
Diego.
our forecast and keep on top of it. 18 people hurt after an Amtrak train collided with an 18-wheeler truck. The response from neighbors as they relive hearing this crash.
A suspicious scene in a Bay Park. Man flat on the ground. Yeah, peering at the garage door. What he does next that has people frustrated.
And an all-female sailing crew is set to pass by San Diego. How their long journey down to South America is helping women everywhere.